Good morning, Brisbane. My name is Ramona, and on today's Brisbane Morning Podcast, I will be talking about truth telling and historical acceptance. Both topics that are highly complicated, but I still think it is important for me and the general public to discuss it because history matters and that we shouldn't try to be ignorant to history. Now, first of all, what is truth telling, you may ask? Well, in the most simple way, truth telling are activities or techniques that tries to uncover and seek the truth of Australia's history. Now, these activities can include storytelling, it can also include illustrating artworks, it could also be from music, dances, or it could be from testimonies and etc. Now, truth telling is crucial to reconciliation because when people understand the truth, they are more or less likely to make assumptions on the marginalized community, which is the Aboriginals. Because when we see Aboriginal people and we don't understand why they have higher homelessness rates, higher drug addiction rates, lower education rates, when we don't understand the truth, the systematic discrimination, we are more likely to make assumptions which leads to subtle discrimination. Now, both Aboriginals, both Indigenous and non-Indigenous people do agree that truth-telling, the goal is to sympathize with Aboriginal people, to recognize the lost culture and also the immense suffering. The difference between both parties in the truth-telling perspective is that the Indigenous people, truth-telling is their entire life. It's basically their life, their existence. They need truth-telling in order to express their feelings and to speak out because they are a marginalized community. Unfortunately, there are a lot of barriers to truth-telling. One of the biggest barriers is the emotional trauma because a lot of them have trauma, and for us to directly ask them hey, can you talk about your trauma, like all of the horrible atrocious past that your grandparents told about you, that is traumatic. Not everyone is gonna want to say that, and also the life threatening of people who express the truth, they might get in trouble in their jobs, and other people might look at them differently, and etc. Another problem is because truth-telling is still a new concept. It was only getting popular back in 2017, so less than 10 years of this concept of truth-telling. So for many people, they don't really know how to do it. And there's also the problem with many people, and especially politicians who are ignorant, who will say that why should we do truth-telling? Because we already teach children basic Australia history in high school. Why should we do truth-telling? But fortunately, there are also, of course, a lot of enablers to truth-telling. The first thing is the backbone of truth-telling. It comes from the older Aboriginal individuals. They are the one who are best at storytelling and to share the history and culture towards the younger Aboriginals, so that in the future they could continue spreading it in their community as well as the outside community. Now, truth-telling also relates to historical acceptance in a way where, because historical acceptance means that people fully accept all of the bad things that Australia government has been done. There are a lot of strategies. There is, of course, the main strategy, which is truth-telling, right? To seek the truth, to tell the truth in the most truthful way and no censorship. And additionally, one of the biggest things that help with truth-telling is universities, because universities is a place where you're basically open to very many viewpoints, belief, political, and everything. For me, right, I didn't understand Aboriginal history. I never know about it until I moved here and I started studying at Griffith University and get introduced to Aboriginal history, where now I'm more acknowledged to the people, the suffering, and etc. Now, enough with me talking about my opinions and stuff like that. I got Mitch Tambo. He is an Aboriginal musician, artist, and also a political activist, and I asked him, why should Australia care about truth-telling?
Hearing our truths, we can't turn our head away anymore to the truths of what happened here. And it's not to point fingers, and I don't come from that position because I want to bring us all together so we can heal. I'm crying out for healing for my people because we hear this term all the time, you're resilient, but that doesn't mean we want to be resilient, we want to be free.
All right, thanks Mitch Tambo for the interview. Now, honestly, after doing like tons of research about truth-telling, I truly believe that truth-telling is extremely important in understanding Australia's history, because in order to prevent future discrimination, in order for the non-Indigenous people and the Indigenous people to truly integrate into society. Thank you for watching.